Hey, I'm Jay from the Kubz. Welcome back to another episode of me reacting to these true story animations. I got a couple ridiculous ones for this episode. If you guys cool with that and you down with that, everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go. First video of today's episode is called My Secret Relationship with My Super Attractive Doctor. Tell me we all haven't had that fantasy at one point or another. You know, somebody in like a doctor outfit or a nurse outfit, and they're like, hey, can I take your temperature? And you're like, yeah, can I take you out later? You know, you have that fantasy in your mind. Don't lie to me, boys and girls. Let's check out this secret relationship from this true story. Let me stop doing this and let's go.
Hi, I'm Mason.
Mason?
And I had a secret relationship.
You ain't as cool as my Mason.
Doctor. It all started a few months ago when I began feeling ill. I'd always hated doctors and hospitals, so I tried to avoid them.
The hell's that, a pencil in his mouth?
I was going to college, but living with my mother to save money. At first, I didn't tell her anything about my symptoms, since I knew she tended to overreact when it came to my health. We lost my dad when I was a young boy, and my mother never really got over the sorrow. He'd gotten really sick, and there was nothing the doctors could do to save him.
He probably wasn't telling the wife anything either because she overreacts when it comes to health stuff, and then look what happened to him. I'm kidding! I'm sorry, Pops!
So it was only natural if my mother became overly concerned when it came to illness.
As
my childhood
somebody should
wasn't
be.
What you would call normal.
She's just a
Ever
concerned
since
mom.
my father passed away, my mom began fearing she'd lose me as well. The only family she had left.
Yeah, stop crying, girl.
So she clung on to me and made sure nothing bad ever happened. She was overprotective, didn't let me play outside, and had me clean my hands almost obsessively. She'd take me to the hospital every time I as much as sneezed or coughed, and insisted that I missed class if any of my friends got sick. It was as if she wanted me to live in this little bubble where nothing wrong could ever happen to me.
The bubble thing kind of reminds me of the watery but gets creamy kid.
I loved her to bits, though, since she
I
was
love
amazing.
that kid.
She was
I
kind
wonder what
and
he's doing
tender,
right now.
and she
Probably
really did
sucking
do
on
her
his mom's
best to raise
tits.
me all on her own. Mom's overprotectiveness also made it hard to date girls as I grew up. She never approved of my relationships, and ended up finding excuses to drive them away, no matter how perfect they might seem to be. When I was accepted into college, we decided I'd remain at home to save up money. That would allow me to avoid student loans, Mom reasoned. The truth of the matter was, our decision wasn't just about
I like
money.
how there's a crown inside the safe.
She didn't feel ready for me to leave, and
I don't know why that's
I didn't
funny.
want to hurt her.
It's so pointless.
So staying home while I studied seemed like a good compromise. Plus, she helped me out a lot, and paid for part of my tuition. I didn't want to be an ungrateful son. So, knowing how she could get, I decided to try and hide my symptoms when I began feeling sick. It was not worth the headache, and I was sure I could nurse myself back to health, no problem.
Sure.
All I needed was a few cups of tea and a whole lot of sleep. The problem began when the fever didn't go down, even after I took some over-the-counter medication and spent the
my
day
man's
in bed.
got the corona.
Mom arrived home from work, and she suspected something was amiss. I tried to pretend nothing was wrong, but she didn't believe my lies. I looked pale and exhausted, so she touched my forehead. I had to confess the truth. I was feeling awfully sick, but I tried to insist that it was just the flu. Of course, Mom wasn't having it.
Ooh.
She wanted to drive me to the hospital right away. I tried to insist it wasn't necessary, but in the end, she had her way. I was feeling too sick to argue any longer, and she was practically dragging me towards the car.
It seemed like you were walking with her just
I
fine.
shivered miserably on the way there. She parked in front of the hospital and rushed me into the ER.
All right, here we go.
I followed
Let's see
behind
this
miserably
super
and sighed as I
attractive,
answered the receptionist's
sexy
questions.
doctor. Wait, did it say sexy?
My mom
No, it
and
just
I
said
sat
super
down in the
attractive.
ER's waiting room,
But that means sexy.
and I
though.
groaned as we waited.
Come on, I want
I
to see
told
the
her I'd be
sexy.
better off curled up in bed,
Show me the
warm
sexy.
and resting comfortably instead of waiting forever in that cold room. Mom patiently listened to my protest, but she still insisted we stayed until the doctor saw me. I was growing more and more frustrated until someone called my name. When I looked up, I was stunned. Standing a few
I'd be
feet away
stunned
from
too.
us was the
You know,
most gorgeous
I'd
woman
be
I had
stunned,
ever laid
'cause
eyes
she
on.
is stunner.
I couldn't
She's
believe it.
stunning.
She was perfect from head to toes. Her hair was long and wavy, her face flawless, her body incredible.
Your body
She was dressed in
incredible.
blue
Calm your
scrubs
fever
that
ass
matched her
down,
eyes.
your thirsty ass.
I could barely speak at all and must have looked like a mumbling fool. The woman introduced herself as Dr. Vanessa, and I had to try and remember
Dr.
my
Vanessa,
own name.
She ain't a real doctor.
I think
Let
that
me
my
see the
mom was the one
credentials.
who told her my name. Dr. Vanessa asked me to follow her into one of the examination rooms while
Oh,
Mom waited
really?
outside. I felt my fever higher than ever and my heartbeat beating in my ears. I thought those were signs that I was falling in love, but in reality, it was my body reacting to the illness.
No, I think you just how
I was getting worse by the minute.
My man
but
was
too
just
distracted by my doctor's
horny.
beauty. I ended up getting admitted into the hospital. Mom didn't waste any time letting me know that she was right. Dr. Vanessa was the doctor in charge of my case,
Sweet.
and that made my stay at the hospital far more pleasant. I would make silly jokes whenever she walked into the room, even when I was feeling awful. She made me smile even through the pain and the fever. She was
What the hell did he
friendly
have?
and brilliant.
A fever or something more?
At first, I thought she was just being nice because she was a good doctor and I was sick. But little by little, I could feel something beginning to grow between us. Dr. Vanessa would stay longer than she needed to in my room. When I
Wait,
began
in
getting
an
better
actual
thanks to
room?
the medications, we would talk and talk.
She's still wearing the doctor
I
outfit
wanted
in
to know
public?
everything about her.
Damn,
I
someone
was
really loves their
surprised to
job.
discover
Oh,
that not
okay,
only was
okay,
she new
okay.
to the area,
Okay.
but she was still in the process of moving into her new apartment. She was staying in a hotel room while some issues with her new home were solved.
Right.
When I asked what neighborhood she was
Now
moving
she's
into,
definitely not a real
she
doctor.
said the name of the
She's
area
an
I lived in.
imposter.
We ended up discovering that we were going to be neighbors. We were both stunned.
Get the
It was
hell
such a
outta
big
here.
coincidence. To me, this felt like destiny, like I had been meant to get sick and to be her patient. Why else would she be moving right next door to me?
Because this story
And
is
we
bull
also
dick.
had this amazing connection. I refuse to believe
This
that
story
all
is
of that
hard
was
bull
simply a
dick.
coincidence. When I told her this, though, she looked worried. She told me that she did like me, but that I was her patient and she couldn't date me.
Yeah, she
It
don't
wouldn't be
like you
ethical,
like you.
and she could get in
She
trouble.
just likes you.
Plus, I was still sick and had to focus on recovering. I was determined not to give up, but I told her I understood. I didn't have to rush things since we'd be living next door to one another. I would keep seeing her after I left the hospital. So, if she didn't want to date a patient, then I'd simply wait until I wasn't her patient any longer.
Smart man.
Of course,
Smart
being
guy.
that patient
Big
was
brain.
easier said than done. I tried to remain friendly and avoid flirting. I really did. Soon enough, though, I was asking her on a date. She told me no the first time,
Bro went on his knees?
and the second time as well.
Oh, dude, nobody likes a
By
little
the third
beggar.
time, Dr. Vanessa laughed and scolded me for being so persistent. She ended up saying she'd go out with me once I was released. Imagine my excitement. It took me a couple more days to actually get better, and it felt like an eternity.
The hell are you doing?
We kept flirting
Stop.
all the time.
You're
but we
embarrassing
never
me.
Kissed. Not until I
Put those
left the
down.
hospital. That night, she invited me over to her apartment. It was incredible to have her right next door, just a few feet away from me. We spent the night together, and I felt like I was in heaven. I was dating the most beautiful woman I had ever met. She was also smart and funny.
Oh, damn, they bouncing up and
Vanessa
down on
was
that
10
couch.
years older than me,
You
but
bet
we
I'm
didn't
saying
care about
it.
that. I was studying to become an architect, and I'd be graduating in less than a year. It wasn't as if I was a teenager or anything of the sort. Problem remained with my mother. I knew she would freak out if she knew that I was dating my doctor.
Why?
It didn't matter if I
The
was no
doctor has a
longer her
good
patient.
job.
I knew
They
what my
do
mom
this.
would say about the whole situation.
Moms should be proud of
What
that.
would happen if she reported Vanessa to the medical board? I didn't want to get my girlfriend in trouble for dating me. So at first, we decided we'd keep it a secret from those around us. My mom didn't like me staying out all night, but I was old enough that she couldn't tell me
And
not
the
to
mom
leave.
is literally in fits
She did
when the
ask me
son's not
many
around.
questions, and I
Jesus
tried
Christ,
to avoid
Mom.
giving her incriminating answers. I just told her I was studying late or that I had found a study group. I never let her know that I was dating someone. At least, not until Vanessa and I decided that our relationship
What the hell are they? The Stairway to Heaven?
was serious, and we would want to take it to the next level. She asked me to move in with her, and I immediately said yes. We
This
were
is
so
escalating
happy
way too
and eager
fast.
to live together, of course, but I was also worried. This meant I had to let my mother know what was going on. Vanessa and I decided we'd tell her the news together. Mom was very surprised to see my doctor in our living room when she got home from work.
Is my boy
She freaked out
sick?
and asked if I was sick again. I explained that I was healthy and Vanessa wasn't there as a doctor. She was there as my girlfriend. Mom got so angry. She asked how long we'd been seeing each other, and I couldn't lie to her any longer.
Dude, what's up with these
We let her know that we
overprotective,
fell in love
obsessive
for each
moms
other
from
while
these
she was
true
still my
stories?
doctor.
Just let your
Mom
kids
did
go!
not take it well at all. She accused Vanessa of taking advantage of her position. Vanessa explained that she knew it had been wrong, but that we had really fallen in love. It took some time, but we managed to convince her not to make any complaints to the hospital. That was a big
Please
relief
let
for
me
me
smash
since
your son's
I knew
guts.
Vanessa could have been fired. Mom can be really overprotective, but she's not a cruel woman.
She looks like a devil. No.
She knew that doing that
whip-
would have been
wait,
wrong.
Is that a noose? That's not even
I'm
a
living
whip.
with
That's a
Vanessa now,
noose.
and my mom is slowly
What in
starting
the
to
world?
accept our relationship.
Mom, Put it down.
It's not been an easy journey, but it's all been worth it. Vanessa is the most wonderful woman I've ever met.
The animations in this shit is so funny.
I can't imagine my life without her. And though Mom's still not too happy about me moving out, she's relieved at least that I live next door to her.
What the heck is going on over here? I'm not watching that. Ew. Conjoined triplets, crazy sisters sharing a body. All right, you know what? Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Amy.
Hey, Amy.
My sisters and I are triplets, but not in the way you'd imagine. We
Well,
are
we
conjoined
knew that.
siblings. My sisters' names are Elena and Anna. Yes, my parents thought it'd be cute to give us all names starting with A.
We don't
I'll
care.
be telling you the struggles we went through and how my sister Anna is ruining Elena and my lives.
Okay, that's what we do
They
care
won't be
about.
telling their sides of the story, so don't expect to hear them in this video. My
Who
mom
controls
and
the
dad never
hands then?
saw our unique condition coming. The pregnancy was perfectly normal, and the doctors assured Mom she was only expecting one baby. Apparently, my sisters were hiding behind my head the few times she underwent an echography.
Wait. Okay. That's tripping me out. Like, I'm trying to pay attention to this whole thing. First of all, that baby looks straight up like Elmer Fudd. Second of all, if there's 3 heads, who's controlling the 2 hands? Unless there's a secret hand just coming out through the stomach like monster style. But I doubt it. Like, I imagine like left head gets left arm, right head gets right arm. What does middle head get? Vag?
Though she did check with doctors to make sure we were okay and took us to the pediatrician as we grew up, she usually avoided the hospital as often as possible.
God damn, that doctor looks like he's seen some shit.
Perhaps if Mom had visited the doctor more regularly, they would have discovered the truth earlier. I'm not sure it would have made much of a difference, though.
That's creepy.
Nothing prepares people to deal with conjoined twins.
I
let
would never
alone
be friends with
triplets.
somebody with 3 heads.
My parents had the room prepared for the
Or would
arrival
I?
of their
You know what
firstborn,
I'm saying?
but things were not going
I'm
to
kidding.
be so easy. Mom wanted to deliver us in some kind of natural birth, but that ended up being impossible.
Natural birth, 3
We wouldn't
heads
come
coming out of
out.
one vag.
How could
Girl,
we?
you crazy.
If we had 3 heads and a single body? So the doctors had to perform an emergency C-section. Mom tried to refuse for as long as possible, but she gave in when she was told her baby's life was at stake. Imagine the doctors and nurses' surprise when they saw my sisters and me for the first time.
They were
3
probably like,
heads
God
and
damn!
3 necks shared a single body.
God damn,
We
these
all
3 kids
cried
bald as
at the
hell.
same time, or so my mom claimed. She said she was shocked and asked what was going on.
At least there's never going to
The
be a
doctors
mix-up
didn't
with
know
those
what
babies.
to say. Having 3 heads on a baby was almost unheard of. There were plenty of cases of conjoined twins, but triplets were a real oddity. It was hard, but they broke the news to my parents. They couldn't believe that anything like that
Dad
could
is ready
actually
to get
happen
milk.
them.
Not
The
come
truth
back
of
for
the
18
matter
years.
is,
I
my
know that
parents tried their
face.
best.
I
They
know
were
it.
expecting a
He's
healthy
like,
daughter
I
and received
gotta go get
3
some milk. I'll be back
babies
at
in the
18.
same body. We demanded far more attention and had to endure surgery at a really early age. My parents tried to find a potential solution to our problem, but
That's
there was
not
no
gonna
way to
happen.
separate us.
How you gonna get
We
2
shared
feet,
all
2
the same
hands
vital
for each
organs,
body?
except
Come on
our
now.
brains. We were born with an extra arm and a larger body. but
Oh,
other than
okay,
that,
so they
the
have
rest of
3
our body
arms.
worked as
So
any
my
other
question
person
is
would.
answered.
So there was
It
no
does come out like a
possibility to cut
monster.
us apart. Growing up with this
That's
condition
disgusting.
was super hard. You might think that the other 2 heads weren't fully formed or something, but that's not the case. We are 3 entirely separate people. It's just that we live in the same body. We each have our own personalities, preferences, likes, and dislikes. Imagine growing up constantly around someone else, 24/7,
Who
without
moves
any
the feet?
chances of being alone, even for a
New
few
question.
seconds.
Who moves
We were
your
connected
nasty
in every
feet?
sense of the word. My
Like, what if somebody wants to pee? Do they all have to pee then? I don't know. Like, this is super interesting to me. What if one of them's hungry and then one of them's sleepy? Does one of the heads just sleep like this and the other one goes to the kitchen and makes a sandwich?
parents had to buy a special bed for us, as well as custom-made clothes. You can figure out why none of the regular outfits a kid would wear could fit us.
Oh, cone
We had
heads.
3 whole heads and 3 arms we needed to fit
Alien
into the dresses
heads.
and shirts. So no matter what we used, it always had to be made especially for us. I'm grateful my parents didn't struggle financially, since that is probably what allowed us to have a decent life.
I can tell the one on the right here is gonna be a bitch.
If they hadn't been able to provide for us, we might not have lived for long, or at least not lived well. My mom and dad loved us dearly, even if it was clear they were
She
in
even
over
looks like
their
a
heads.
bitch right there getting
They
hugged.
didn't know how to handle babies.
She's
and
like,
then kids and teenagers with 3 heads
Look at
and
her.
3 distinct
She's so
personalities.
evil.
Everything was harder for us than a regular child. Sleeping was a struggle, making friends was a struggle, studying was a struggle. Even bathing, eating, and going to the bathroom was a whole long and
Was
complicated
shutting up a
process.
struggle too?
Plus, I didn't get along at all with one of my sisters, Anna. If you have siblings, try to imagine being glued to your sister or brother all the time.
Nah, I'm
them
good.
being by your side every single second of the day.
I don't want to think
If you
that.
don't, replace it with your best friend.
I don't want to
No
do that
matter
either.
how much you might like
Don't
them,
want to do any
you
of
grow
those things.
frustrated after a day or
Glad
two.
I'm not,
Exactly.
conjoined
that
to
would
anything.
Be super annoying. We didn't have to endure that just a handful of days. It was our entire life. Now, even the sister I like, Elena, gets on my nerves from time to time. I imagine the same happens to her. Being with Anna, meanwhile, is always a nightmare. I love Elena to bits, but Anna is another story altogether.
That sucks.
Growing up, we all had really different personalities. Elena was always really quiet and loved to read. She's super shy and rarely speaks to strangers. She preferred being alone, or as alone as you can be with two siblings sharing your body. Anna was super short-tempered, and she got angry so suddenly we never knew when it was coming. It was hard enduring her temper tantrums and her cruel
The hell
streak.
is wrong with her
Plus,
eyes?
she was
Who
really
drew
nasty
her?
toward people, and the few friends we had hated her too. So it became super hard keeping any friendships growing up. What's worse, we always had to do what she wanted. If Elena wanted to stay in and read her books,
She starts
but
punching
Anna
the other
preferred
girls'
going
faces.
outside, you can imagine who'd win.
It looks like her fist is
Anna would
ready to
make sure
punch
be
things
super
too.
loud and
She's
really
definitely
annoying
in
just to
control
get
of the
her
other
way.
hand.
So Elena tried to read,
So I think that she
and
can
Anna
just,
would
like,
close
go
the
over and
book,
smack
punch my
everybody.
other sister or me, or just scream and talk nonstop until we gave up.
Actually, the middle girl could
Then
like,
she
elbow
was in
her.
a super good mood again.
Why am I
was
thinking about them
incredibly
fighting?
Spoiled and
I want to
selfish.
see them fight.
I am the
Like an
one in the
actual
middle
fight.
of Elena and Anna, so I try my best to be sort of a buffer between them. My parents couldn't punish only Anna for her cruelty without us also suffering. So if Anna couldn't watch TV or have dessert, we had to endure the same
Yeah,
punishment.
they can. Just
Anna would
put a
taunt us
blindfold
about
over
it,
her eyes so she
finding
can't watch
glee in
TV.
denying us nice
And then
things,
tie her
even if
hand
she had
behind
to
her
go
back.
without it as well.
She can't do anything.
My sister Anna was the one in
Then
charge
just don't
of our
feed her
left
anything
arm
in her
and leg,
mouth.
so you can
Boom,
imagine
problem
how
solved.
messy that got.
Come on, I can handle
Until
these
we
triplets.
turned 17,
Let's go.
she had been nasty, but not dangerous. Then everything began to change. We were about to cross the street when the
She got
traffic
hit
light
by a
changed.
car.
We stopped, waiting for the cars to stop
Anna's the
speeding
one who
past
got
us,
hit by a
when
car
I
and then she
felt
got
someone trying to
separated.
push us
Watch.
forward. At first, I thought someone was behind us, but then I realized it was my own body that was moving, or at least it was the left side of my body. Anna was trying to walk straight into traffic. Elena and I screamed at her to stop. We actually had to throw ourselves back and fall to the floor in order to stop her.
What in
We
the
demanded
world?
to know what on earth she
What a
was thinking,
psycho.
and she let us know she
That
wanted
face
to
is
hurt
so
us.
goddamn
We reminded
evil.
her that by hurting us, she was hurting herself. Anna laughed and said she didn't care. That was when I understand that Anna wasn't merely annoying and cruel. She was absolutely insane. Elena and I decided to speak to our parents, and we told her everything that Anna had done and said that day. They were really worried, of course, but they didn't want to pick favorites.
They look really worried. Those are the faces of two parents that are worried, apparently, in 2020, guys. That's the face right there.
Mom and Dad loved us all equally, and they didn't think Anna was evil. They just thought she was troubled. So they sent us to talk to a shrink. I hope I could say that this improved our relationship, but it only made it worse. Anna was furious that we had told on her and was determined to ruin our lives completely. She began doing everything in her own power to mess with us. While we were walking down the street, she'd scream foul things at people around us. She didn't allow us to sleep in peace, waking the two of us in the middle of the night by
She's
making
singing
loud
into a
noises or
microphone.
forcing us to sit
What
up.
a bitch!
She would refuse to comb her hair, and taking a shower became such a struggle. If it was hard before,
I kind of like her.
now it was almost
in like a
impossible.
nasty way.
Whenever
Like, she's
Elena and
funny.
I tried to study, she'd mess with us, and taking exams became harder than ever. Still, we somehow managed to graduate from school. Elena wanted to go to college, but I can't imagine Anna letting us do that. Anna has been making sure our every second with her is a living nightmare, and what's worse, Elena and I can't escape. She even hurts us when we are sleeping, so we can't even
Jesus.
enjoy a nice rest without
So that's the
stressing
end of
about
the
her
story?
messing with us.
Really?
I
She
really
hurts
don't
you
know
while
how the
you're
situation
sleeping and
is
won't
going
let
to
you
be
go to
solved.
college?
But I'm afraid for
That's
Elena's
horrible.
life, as well as my own.
And I know I'm talking
Anna
over
doesn't seem
her,
to care if she
but
lives
you know,
or
I'd be
dies.
doing the same thing that Anna does. I'm
Thank
not
you
even
for
listening to
watching.
her.
Don't
Shut up.
forget-
Last video we were going to check out is called My Dad Accidentally Sent Me Dirty Pictures, and I only have one word for that. Ew.
Hi, my name is Karen,
Hey, Karen.
and my dad sent me a dirty text.
Nice.
I know it's super creepy and icky, right? I was so shocked when I opened the naughty picture. Let me tell you a bit about my family and myself. I'm the only daughter in a middle-class family. My grandparents passed away 2 years ago, and I
Good.
barely knew them. I don't really have cousins, and only an aunt that lives abroad. So my mom and dad are basically my only family. They were
All
both
right.
so loving and
I don't
supportive
care.
to me as I grew up.
Show me the pic.
Mom and Dad always
Show me the
took good care of
picture.
me, and they came to all my school recitals. They helped me with my homework and hugged me when I hurt myself.
Who cares?
Mom and Dad also seemed to
Who
really,
cares?
really love each other.
I'm like an owl right now.
They had the
Who
kind of
cares?
relationship I wanted to have with
Who?
my boyfriend or husband
Who
when I
cares?
grew up.
I don't
They
care.
always laughed
You don't
and
care.
got along so
Pretty
well.
sure these two
At
parents
least
don't even
up to
care.
a few years ago.
Show me the pic.
That was when Dad began
Show me the
working
pic
late more often.
right now.
But I didn't think much of it.
Come on.
He was just busy, and he was still a very loving father.
Show me the
He
damn pic
managed to make
right
time for my
now.
recitals, even with his busy schedule. On the nights that I went to sleep before he
Oh
arrived,
my God.
he made sure to have breakfast
Nobody
with me
cares
to
about
make
this
up for missing
bullshit
dinner time.
backstory.
So
it's a
yeah,
freaking
my dad was
text.
pretty awesome. That's why I was so shocked when he sent me that text.
Yeah.
Dad messaged me regularly,
Yeah.
wishing me to have a lovely
Good
day or
morning.
sending me silly
Morning,
gifts.
Dad.
It was almost a
Yeah.
routine for us. So when my cell phone beeped and I noticed
Oh,
I had a text
message
from
from
him, it wasn't a surprise.
Dad. Now you're
That
in
was until
trouble.
I opened it and saw the picture attached. I couldn't believe it. I almost dropped my phone. I was standing next to my locker, and my eyes opened so wide that my friends tried to see what I was looking at. I hid my cell phone and rushed to the bathroom. It had to be some kind of misunderstanding. Dad would
Oh my
never send me
God.
something like that. He was a good dad, not some kind of freak or pervert.
He
It
was a
didn't make
good
sense.
dad.
So I
He's a
opened the
hood
text
dad.
again and avoided looking at the picture. I bet you want to know what could be so terrible. Well, it was a photo of his banana.
Bro.
Okay, goddamn.
Oh, ew. Not only did the daughter get a pig, she compared it to a banana. She basically complimented her dad for having a big wang.
I bet you are making the same face of disgust I did back then.
No, actually, I'm thinking that my dad never even sent me an I love you text and you're over here getting dick pics.
I was so shocked and embarrassed, and I couldn't believe Dad would do something like that. That was until I read the caption beneath the picture. It read, "This is for you, Annabelle."
Oh,
As you might have
shit.
guessed, that's not my
Annabelle!
name. You can imagine my relief
Why would
when I
he
saw
say
that.
this is for you and
It
then put
meant
his
that
daughter's
Dad
name?
hadn't meant to send me
This
that dirty
ain't-
picture.
well, this ain't the
He just wanted
Midwest,
to send
baby.
it to Annabelle, and in some terrible mistake, he had instead sent it my way. I was scarred for life, but at least my dad wasn't a pervert or anything like that.
You sure about that?
For an instant, I was so relieved by this fact that I didn't realize the other big problem. But soon I began thinking about it and asked myself, well, then who did he mean to send this picture to?
Annabelle!
After all, my mom's name
You
is
ain't that dumb,
Tabitha,
right?
not Annabelle. I couldn't even concentrate on any of my classes that day. I kept wondering who this
And of course he's
Annabelle
not going to
woman
send it to the
was.
mom. She's
My
seen that
father
meat
was
for like
cheating on
30
my
years.
mom, wasn't he?
Oh, no, that's
I
old
was
meat.
so mad and
That's
disappointed,
expired
and I
meat.
didn't know what to do. My mom and dad seemed to have the perfect marriage. Could I really ruin it by letting my mom know Dad's secret?
Yes.
I didn't want to ruin our family. But then I started thinking that Mom deserved to know, and Dad was the one messing up, not me. I couldn't decide what to do, and decided to sleep on it. I didn't sleep at all that night, tossing and turning in bed. I asked myself what would be the right thing to do. If I told my mom about it, then she would surely divorce him. Dad would be heartbroken, and he'd have to move out.
All from a
Even
dick
though he was
pic.
cheating on Mom, I still loved him and didn't want him to live in another house far from me. I didn't want my mom to suffer either. At the same time, was it fair for my mom to be lied to? A few days went by as I tried to make up my mind.
That's
Dad
not a few
never
days.
talked
That's
to me
damn
about
near
the
a month.
photo, and that made me mad. I didn't know if he hadn't realized or tried
It's
to
like,
pretend
hey,
he
did you
didn't do
see
anything
my
wrong,
banana?
But it annoyed me. One way or another, it was an incredibly selfish and petty thing to do. If he wanted to be with someone else, he shouldn't be sneaking around.
So,
like a
daughter,
rat.
did you
Mom
see
deserved
my
better.
yellow banana?
So I decided I had to tell Mom. It was the right thing to do, even if it ended up hurting us all. I sat Mom down and I told her everything that had happened, worried she'd break down crying. Instead,
Oh
much to my
God.
surprise, she laughed. I asked her what
She
was
laughed?
going on. She had explained that
Why,
she
is
had
her
been
name
suspecting
secretly
my dad
Annabelle?
was cheating for a long time, and that she was getting ready to file for divorce.
A word?
I was absolutely stunned. Mom and Dad are divorced by now, and they agreed to share custody. They don't get along at all nowadays, and I think that's so sad. I really thought they loved each other. At least
This
they
story
try not to
ended
argue in
sad
front
too?
of me, so that's something.
Damn, these are
Thank you for
depressing.
watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other videos on the channel.
Yeah, I mean, the end of these are all depressing. They don't have good endings at all. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for reacting to these true story animations. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you want me to react to any more of these on the internet, make sure you guys give this video one big fat like, and tell a friend today that Jay from the Kubz Scouts is dead too!